Spin that. Spin it.
Forgive me for my wrongs, I have just begun. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking. Rose! Don't be begging for your life, cause that's a lost cause. High stakes, body armor, suicide.
Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. How are you all feeling? It is a fantastic day to be with you all. You might notice that we are without our boy wonder, Brian Roush. He's taking some time away. So while the parents are away, the kids will play. And so Brian's the one who usually keeps us on our toes.
Brian's been cutting up a lot lately, for sure.
That's true. He, especially last episode, I might have been a bad influence last week. He was. Yes, Roman, the human filter is gone. And you know something? I am so glad that you brought this up, because your little image there is Whoppers. And I want everyone to know that it's Whopper season. And your knee-jerk reaction is going to be throw them away. Don't eat them. Give them to somebody else. And I'm just going to say this. This is all I'm going to say. If you eat them the right way, they are an enjoyable treat. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it right there.
How do you eat them?
You got to suck them. Like, that's the only way that you got to do it. Like, you got to just suck them and let them melt in your mouth. And then that malt mixes with the chocolate. And then it just creates a much more enjoyable experience for everybody. So I don't want it to be a thing. We don't need to dawdle on it too long. But I did want to just touch on that it is, in fact, Whopper season.
You feel better about it?
Good. Feel better about
I'm glad that you feel better about it. Candy corn and Whoppers, bottom of my list.
That's fine. Candy corn is a divisive candy. Like, it is there are some people that are like,
candy corn is running for office.
That's candy corn is having rallies in large arenas and saying some wild shit about people.
This is not a political podcast. I wouldn't be caught dead in the vicinity of fucking rally. I know, thank you.
Yeah,
that feels dangerous. Anyway,
it's a lot. But we do have a whole episode. We're gonna talk a little bit. We're not gonna talk a little bit. We are gonna talk about Venom 3: The Last Dance. I'm really glad that I wrote it down on the title that's at the top of this episode, because I've been calling it The Last Ride every opportunity that I have.
Okay. Better than The Last Supper.
Which that's also good, because I've been messing that up for a while.
Yeah, I don't know what you called it when we went to go see it, but it was something else that wasn't right.
No. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk a little bit. Marcus is gonna give us some insight into his latest anime rabbit hole he's been going down, which is exciting. And I got a little surprise game for everybody to play. But in order to do it well, in order to do it right, we got to make sure everybody's thoroughly welcomed and introed into the space. So Marcus J. Destin, aka the Black One, how you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling good, feeling better. Had a little bit of I think I got food poisoning. I'm not sure. I've never had food poisoning, but it sure felt like it. My stomach and my throat says food poisoning.
Okay. What did you eat?
I'd rather not disclose that, because I don't want to put that particular place on blast.
I didn't ask for a name. I just said, what type of food did you eat?
I feel like that would give it away. We live in a small town. That would give it away.
So you ate at the one Mexican restaurant that we have in town?
We have three. So, but no, it's not none of them. Why are you even doing this?
Because I need to know. You are doing a public service by telling people, I don't eat there.
I feel like I just had a bad batch. I ordered something from a restaurant that is a very good restaurant I always go to in town. I ordered something different than I typically order. And I think that particular order, which I'll tell you off air, really it threw me for a loop. I don't know what happened, but it just shit went left. I was good Friday. Friday night is when I ordered it. And then all day Saturday, I was sick as a dog. Sunday was still kind of like coming up. And then today I just took off work because I just needed one more day of like recovery to get my shit together. Not literal shit together, but like shit together.
Dude, like food poisoning is the worst. There's just nothing worse because there's like nothing you can do. It's just like,
how do you know that you have it though? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm only going off of Googling it, but like, is it just like if you've been tossing your cookies all night, it's probably food poisoning? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's always possible, like it's a stomach bug, but here's my telltale sign. If it feels like my insides are twisting themselves into knots,
yeah, oh, that's accurate.
I feel like it's food poisoning. Like, here's the best example. In high school, I went to New York City with a friend of mine. We went out to a restaurant and I had the salmon the night before I was supposed to fly. And it's New York City. You can get salmon anywhere. But anyway, so I had the salmon, and the night before we had to fly, I was up all night just yakking my brains out. And here's the thing, it just felt like my insides were just like rebelling against me. So
yeah,
I can say.
Yeah, so. That was rough. That was rough. And that's kind of what it felt like. So I think that's what it was. My first time having it. I'll be back at that place. You know, because I'm a glutton for punishment. You know what I mean? I just think it was literally me going out of the way to get something I don't typically get.
Well, and I think the other thing is that, like, you know, it also very possible it could have been something earlier in that day that you had, and it just took so long. So
for sure.
The fact that it was so instant, though, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're on the up and up. That is never fun. So
that's why my lights are off. If you're wondering why my lights are blue, it's because I feel like I have a hangover just from food sickness.
No, I guess that. Yep, that tracks. That tracks.
Yeah. But how are you doing, dude?
Good. Had a good weekend. I mean, we were doing fall stuff. I mean, we were just, you know, taking care of leaves and you know, getting the house ready for it to be cold and finish putting the basement back together. So really nothing like super exciting. I also had something happen to my physical body that was interesting. I think I tore a muscle in my leg, which was not great. I'm fine. I can move around. I can walk. I was working out with a friend of mine, Bob, in the morning. Shout out to Bob. I was in the middle of doing something and I felt a pop at the top of my leg when I came up, and I literally put down the dumbbell and I looked at him and I said, "Did you throw something at me?" He goes, "No, why?" And I was like, "It felt like you just threw something at me." And he was like, "Well, that's not good." And then that's when my legs started to get like hot and stiff. And so, yeah,
Did you go somewhere to like a doctor?
Oh, no, it was the front top, Roman. It was the front top of my leg. I think it was either a quad or I think it was the top of my quad. I'm fine. I got up. So then Saturday we had like kid stuff we did. So I walked around all day. And I think that's the thing that saved me because it never got stiff. I have a little bruise, but it never got stiff or anything else. So I think I dodged.
Maybe like a hyperextension.
Probably like something like that. So welcome to physiology in black and white. Yeah, I was thinking PT.
I was thinking PT.
Yeah. Yes. And Roman, getting old is tough.
It's ass.
Getting old is tough. You know what's really funny? So Brittany and I watched the South Dakota State game on Friday.
Shout out to my Coyotes, man.
I mean, they should not be embarrassed by that at all. I mean, you took a team to overtime on their own home turf.
Moral victories. You took the number 4 team at that. Moral victories don't count for shit, so don't get me wrong, because that's the competitor in me. But listen, the Coyotes are a fucking top contender. Like, that's not a fluke.
Legit. They're a legit team. They are a legit team. Yeah. Especially since it's the switch, because when they played Youngstown State, they let that quarterback run all day long, and they were able to be like, nope, not again. And I think a good team is able to learn from their mistakes and fix it the next week.
Yeah.
And so, because then it's just a bad day and not a deficiency. And I think that this is, I completely agree. But anyway, there was a player on one of the teams and he was walking around with his leg. And I was like, yeah, me too. Right, Britt? I mean, I think I got something with my leg. And she goes, she's like, don't do that. Like, you are 37 years old. Let's not think that you're somehow like an athlete.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm like, I am an athlete.
I am
like,
you are an athlete.
It's like quietly muttering under my breath. I am an athlete. Like just
in my ear, it sounds. It sounds funny.
I am an athlete. But
Me,
Marcus, we have a whole podcast to get to, and we've got things to do. Yes, please.
Brian gave us permission to share. Brian is not here.
Oh, yeah.
He's taking care of family business, but we want to shout out Maggie Roush. Maggie Roush is back at home and doing very well. For those that were just, we had some ambiguous messaging. But Maggie Roush is back at home. So shout out to Maggie Roush, shout out to Roush family, shout out to everybody. Also follow us on socials. You can follow us everywhere right now. If you haven't caught up, we are unleashing clips like the fucking hounds from hell, right? So share those clips. That does us a huge favor. If you share those, when you see them, you like the posts, share them as best you can. Let other people know what they're missing out when you come and join us on these Monday lives. And if you really want to be a part of the show, an intimate part of the show, you can join us every Monday live, be a producer for the show, get extra bonus episodes by joining the Patreon family at Films in Black and White /Patreon or Patreon /Films in Black and White.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're on Twitch, so join us on Twitch.
And if you're not watching us on Twitch, you're missing out because that is. It's a fireplace to watch,
actually. Yeah.
Absolutely. Marcus, we have a little game that we like to play called Catch That Quotable.
Catch that quotable.
The silky sounds of Marcus J. Marcus, are you ready for this week's quote?
Hit me.
All right. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are. I feel like I should know what this is from.
I feel like I should know what this is from too. Fuck.
Yes. I will read it again. I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Man, I definitely should know what this is. And I'm going to be mad as hell when you read it.
I'm going to be really pissed when I read it. Do you want me to look it up and give you a hint?
Yeah, actually, yeah, please, because that's going to piss me off. I can tell you my immediate thoughts. It's definitely something where the kid is born in the worst situations. I was thinking, God, what is that book? Lemony Snicket, but that's not right because they're a pair of twins. So they would speak more in plurals if that was the quote. Series of unfortunate events.
Okay, think less.
Okay.
Don't go as high. Don't go as high and as deep with it.
Okay.
And think about let me give you the phrase. Oh, Jesus. What's a good hint? Jesus.
I would know it for sure, right?
Yeah, this comes from a movie that Roman has given us before, first of all.
And we did it right.
And it's an animated movie.
Okay.
And let's just put it this way. You've been watching a lot of anime lately. This movie would fall in that realm.
Oh God. Is it one of Megan Richard Shaw's favorite movies?
It is not.
Okay. Well, she likes the animes.
Yeah. She likes the.
This would be considered an anime.
I would consider it that. Yes.
It's a movie.
It is indeed.
Can you give me the year?
Oh man. Yeah, give me 1 second. 1998.
Oh fuck. I don't know. I don't know. What is it?
Okay. This comes from this comes from Pokemon, the first movie. And Mewtwo is the one that says this.
I never watched that movie.
Yeah. And so there you go. That's why I feel like I should know it, because I watched this with Harrison and I'm like, where is this from? And you're right. It has all the tropes of hey,
born in the worst conditions.
Yeah,
you go and you make it deep.
This is fucking Slumdog Millionaire. That's what this is. Like, that's what this feels like.
Goddamn Slumdog Millionaire.
Goddamn.
I did not watch a lot of Pokemon movies. Like, cause
really?
Growing up the way that I grew up in the church at the time, it was like Pokemon was of the devil, right? Somehow I could watch Yu-Gi-Oh though, which always felt very strange to me.
Yeah, that's those two. I would switch those things around. If I was ever to have a church, I'd be like, No Yu-Gi-Oh, yes to Pokemon. That's how I would do it.
I don't know if that was the thing that I was going for, but yeah, for sure. If Doug was to ever have a church.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh is all about like he's an Egyptian god in Yu-Gi-Oh, isn't he?
Yeah, there's like and at a certain point there's holographics of the cards, but then you also are raising like the spirit of the card, essentially. You know what I mean?
The heart of the cards.
The heart of the card. So I was always just a bigger Yu-Gi-Oh fan than a Pokemon fan, just me personally. So
yeah. Digimon was also my game.
I did like Digimon.
I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh just because I think I missed an intro episode somewhere because I was like, why are these cards coming to life? I don't get it. I also never understood why they were battling each other.
Yeah.
Never made any fucking never made any sense to me. I was like, so what? These two people just like met up and then went to a stadium and said, we have to duel? Like, is that the way this works?
I think that Yu-Gi-Oh is more Yu-Gi-Oh feels like it has more of a storyline than I think with Ash Ketchum, right?
Sure.
These two guys, like one for example, Joey would battle Kaiba because you get money from it, and like his sister would be sick, and if you won the battle or the tournament, then you get it. But then also they introduced the Egyptian pieces and all the things they have to collect. In order to collect them, you have to beat the person like Millennium with the Pegasus with the Millennium Eye. Like it's a whole bunch of layers to it. God, fuck, that makes me want to rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it was just a good show.
And Roman says in the chat, Yugi was saving his grandpa's soul by winning the tournament.
Yeah, it was captured by the eye of what's his name, Maximilian Pegasus Maximilian, and he has an Egyptian. One of the pieces, golden pieces, is in his eye, and he can capture souls.
Oh shit! Let me see this. I'm gonna look this guy up
because he has long white hair, tall guy, slim guy in a suit. Maximilian Pegasus or something like that. It was really
Maximilian Pegasus. This guy stands. Okay, I'm gonna do Brian right and share my screen and just pull this gentleman up.
Yeah. This guy is slick. He was the villain. Rich, wealthy. You couldn't beat him in cards. He was really good. Yu-Gi-Oh was his like guy. He pulled that hair back and he had a fucking
like an eye in there, huh?
They got the golden eye in there, and it's a part of the 7 pieces. Like Yu-Gi-Oh has the necklace that is in the shape of the thing that makes him transform from Yugi to Yugi, whatever the full fucking name is. And then there's a staff. There's a whole bunch of different pieces to it. Yu-Gi-Oh was way better to me than Pokemon.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, with the staff. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I never followed this. Like it was always, I remember like Pokemon for me was like when I got home from school, I sat down, I watched Pokemon, then I did homework, then I practiced the piano, then I ate dinner. Like that was my routine. Like, so I just every day, that's just like what I did. Digimon always felt a little like weird to me. Because I want to pull up some of these, some of these like animals like this yes, these are incredible.
I'm gonna talk about the animes I'm watching next.
Yeah, this is wild to me what some of them are. Also, there were other ones that I feel like it just looked like a loaf of bread.
My favorite part of Digimon was when they started combining with their like people, their Digimasters or whatever the fuck it's called. Like it was a point where they became in the game and then they became their monsters to fight. I don't know how to word it, but
by the way, Googling loaf of bread Digimon, no results. Couldn't help anybody.
You might actually get an award for, when they award people for shit you've never Googled before. I'm pretty sure that's in there.
This is absolutely one.
Roman says Digimon evolved into people with guns and weapons. That's true.
That's exactly right.
Remember, yeah.
Okay, here. This is what I'll pull up because I bet I'll find it this way.
Every Digimon anime.
Give me the bread. It looked like bread with wings.
I don't think Google knows.
It looked like bread with wings. God damn it!
You're yelling at it like an old person. Bread with wings.
Show me the bread with wings. This one right here. This little orange one. Anyone know what this little orange one was called?
Patamon.
All right. Let's try it. Roman.
I don't know what you're,
because that might be it
either, by the way. So I'm listeners. I'm just as locked in.
There it is. Yeah, this thing's a loaf of bread with wings on its head. That's what this was to me. No,
he's cute.
Yeah, I never got it. And this kid was always whining about something.
He was always whining about. I do remember that. I wish it was.
No one wants to play. Meh. Like that's just how
there
I
was
felt.
a show called JetX. There was a channel called JetX, and they used to show all these fire shows like that. It was kind of like a Disney offshoot.
Sure.
I thought that was a really dope show, and that's where I used to watch it. Listen to this though, right?
Long ago, when the pyramids were still young, Egyptian kings played a game.
And the church was like, hey, this is fine.
But these shadow games erupted into a war that threatened to destroy
because again,
the world.
Right off the rip, this feels like I can
way.
think of the church argument in my head.
Within the mystical millennium
it's not the church.
Oh, look, it's
look how fire the theme song is.
Look at it. Look at this kid worshiping a golden idol.
Shut up. Listen to the theme song.
For destiny has chosen him to defend the world from the return of the Shadow Games. Just as the brave
this thing is long as hell.
It's long as fuck.
Years ago.
Oh, okay. Here's the thing. So, Jesus Christ, I've never seen that full intro like that.
That's a long
Listen to
intro.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, that's just kind of fire.
I mean, it's good. I'll give you that. It's real good.
Now, I do understand, however, that whole story is kind of like, yeah, it's probably not best for the church.
I mean, I'm just going with what I've been given. Okay, like that's
Roman, yes, and shadow games. You put your soul on the line to be banished to the shadow realm if you lost. And the church was like, yeah, but capturing that monster in a Pokeball.
You know what it is? Those Pokemon are a front to the creator because who knows? So yeah, I have so many questions. And to those who are listening to this, we just went through a whole
we're not
Saturday morning cartoon.
We did.
I apologize for my 85-year-old loaf of bread Digimon tirade I went on. Show me that loaf of bread with wings. But Marcus, this is a great transition because you were telling me before the show started that anime's been a rabbit hole for you, but it also might be a muse for you. So walk us through, man. What's going on?
I feel like I have found some type of connection. So I'll tell you all the things that I have been watching lately. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen. So I've always liked anime. I grew up on Dragon Ball. I grew up on Inuyasha, Samurai Jack, all of those kind of Toonami TV show animes.
Yeah.
Just late night watching Gundam, like all that kind of stuff is what I grew up on. I have not gotten into like the Narutos, the new Dragon Balls, the deeper like One Piece, because I always felt like I was behind. And so like now recently I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to start watching this because I know how I am with series, but watching an anime and watching animation is a little bit different and give me something to binge watch while I'm doing different shit. So I started off with Jujutsu Kaisen, and then I got through, I think, season 1 and 2 on Netflix. It just says 24 episodes, so I'm through the first 24.
Got it.
I need to finish that one. I watched the original Gundam from 1980 because that was what was airing, I think, at the time. Roman,
yeah.
I think that was. They put out a new Gundam on Netflix, and I tried to watch it, but the animation is just god awful. I cannot watch this. This little 3D-ish. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyway, so I'll go. And I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, really enjoyed Jujutsu Kaisen, so I got to finish that on Crunchyroll or something like that. And then I started Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z is kind of like, I forgot how much filler was in Dragon Ball Z, so I have to go rewatch it. It's a lot of filler episodes. So I took a pause on that, started trying to watch Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer, the first episode was like deep as hell. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is very deep. I don't really want to watch that now. So I'm currently on season 5 of Hunter x Hunter, and I fucking love Hunter x Hunter. I zoomed through seasons 1 through 4 like quickly. The Phantom Troop is like one of my favorite arcs from Hunter x Hunter, but Gon and Killua are like they're like two best friends. This kid, he's 12 years old. He has another best friend named Killua. And his dad is like became this big hunter, and that's like a job that you can do. Is like you have to take this really, really hard test to become a hunter, and you travel the world, and it's for people who love adventures and all this other shit like that and discovering things. His dad became a hunter and left his family behind. So Gon's whole idea is like, I'm gonna become a hunter and I'm gonna find out what was it that was so thrilling about becoming a hunter that my dad left, because obviously it was something. And Gon is obviously this like talented motherfucker. He's probably going to surpass his dad very soon, but like it's a really good fucking show. You know what I mean? Yeah, Mace, the fucking ants. Woo! Listen, I'm on the Chimera ants. And I'm on the Chimera Ant episodes, and they don't fuck around. That shit is getting gruesome.
I'm sorry, did you say Chimera Ants?
Yeah, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. It's tough. It's really good.
I mean, all right.
Nikki, based anime enjoyer? Yes, I am. If you have any recommendations, I am taking them. But yeah, but I'm also watching this. I'm also watching this other show on Netflix. Right? Give me 1 second. I want to share.
Pull it up.
The theme song is so fire. Keep going.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Because I see, I'm glad you're showing me this world, because I got to be real with you. This has never been. Oh my God.
This shit is tough. This is on Netflix, and I watch this every fucking Thursday. It's so good.
Okay. I could see how this is an inspiration for you. I gotta be honest with you. So I might watch it just for that intro.
Oh man! And when you watch it, you're gonna be like, "This is weird as fuck." But I grew up on like Fooly Cooley, and I grew up on that type of stuff. So Dun 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 is like, I think it's first of all, the animation really fucking done well. The storyline itself, I think, is really done well if you can keep up with it. But they do a good job of trying to keeping you invested. And the theme song, that's what I like about the animes, right? It's like quick storytelling. It's like the same template basically every episode, right? And then like really good storytelling. But something has triggered that every time I watch Dun 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 and I watch Hunter x Hunter, I write a verse, like I write a music verse, and I have zero idea why. But every time it happens, I get an inspiration to go and just fucking write. And it's happened like 2 times already. And so not sure where that came from, but I am enjoying my anime rundown. You can follow me on Threads at Marcus J. Destin. I'm kind of live threading the whole experience. But yeah, that's been me with animes right now.
Okay.
Nikki, what are your recommendations?
Yeah, like lay us on them.
Talking shit.
Well, while she's giving us those, I'm going to share with you. Anime's just never been a world that I've crossed into. Not from a lack of like curiosity or interest. Because there's been parts of me that's like, man, this sounds really interesting. So it's just hard for me to get into it. Now, I did have a friend in high school that was really into stuff, and I watched a couple of movies and a couple of series. The one that I watched was Berserk, if you've ever heard of that one.
Oh,
Marcus.
I think I've heard of Berserk. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll pull up I have the intro all queued up, so I'll show it to you. But this was very much like, I mean, y'all know, like, I'm a fantasy guy, so like anything that's about like has swords involved, I'm a big fan of.
Maybe I haven't. This is definitely old school anime.
Yes. This was like the last anime show that I ever watched. So again, it's about this is my shit. So like this is very much my jam. So that's the last one I watched, and I really enjoyed. For me, anime has to like the art, like the animation has to hit the right way, or otherwise it's hard for me to get into it. So this Cowboy Bebop,
classic.
Akira, like all of those are things that like I have no trouble diving into. So again, if folks have recommendations based off of those 3 things of things that I should watch, send them my way. Happy to check them out.
I feel like, Doug would like Demon Slayer. I think absolutely. I think you would also like Inuyasha, Samurai Jack for sure. If you've never watched Samurai Jack,
and Samurai Jack I've watched too, and that is also very much my shit.
I think you definitely would like Inuyasha. I think you would like Gundam. Gundam just is very fluffy sometimes, or the dialogue doesn't make any sense, because I started rewatching the one from the 80s, and I was like, man, just get in the Gundam seat and start fighting, motherfucker. But also, I think that you would like Dun Dun Dun. You cannot watch that with kids around, though. But like, I think that you would like that show because the animation is like really good. The theme song, all of that. I think you would enjoy it. Nikki says, Darling in the Franxx. Mason says, do not watch that. And Roman says Iron-Blooded Orphans. I have watched Iron-Blooded Orphans. Oh, I did watch the Cyberpunk anime. That was really good, Nikki. And it almost made me cry just by like the storyline. And by the time you get to the end of that show, that shit was kind of deep, man. I also started watching Zeus. Is it Zeus or Hercules? Zeus, son of Zeus, blood of Zeus? Blood of Zeus.
Oh, okay.
And
see that I could also get into. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one I'll show you is I did watch something on Max.
Attack on Titan is also
that I really liked. But I'm not sure if you would call it like a anime or not. So I'll show you a little bit of it, and
I think we hit a bag here, low key, because like everybody
did too.
Everybody, give me your top 3 animes right now in the chat.
Yeah. So I watched. If anybody's watched Primal,
like
if anybody's watched Primal on Max, it's not a lot of dialogue, but it is literally like a caveman and his dinosaur friend, and that's it. So, but this is very much like my shit.
Yeah, I could see that being your shit.
So yeah, this is very much my jam. Like, I love this. So yeah, Primal's really good. So again, it's on Max. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I really like that too. But yeah,
I definitely think we hit a bag here. Wait, keep talking.
Oh yeah, we absolutely did. So yeah, I mean, Roman in the chat says Black Clover for the fantasy aspect would be one that he really liked. Yeah, I mean, I've always felt with things like Dragon Ball and some others that it's hard for me to get in, because it's such a big, it's like eating it's like when someone brings you a giant sandwich to your table and you're like, I don't even know how the fuck I'm gonna start this.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I think that is why. And here's the thing with the animes I'm watching now, I don't have to wait week to week. Dun 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 is the only one that, like, this is new. New episodes come out every Thursday. So that's the only one I'm really waiting to watch every week. But the thing with Hunter x Hunter and all of the other ones, and when I'm building up to Naruto and One Piece, because those are the longest ones. But I don't have to wait week to week. I can basically get through it and start binging, and I don't have to, like, if none of my new shows are on, or I'm waiting for I'm waiting for the Penguin to get done. Once the Penguin is done, I'll go and watch all of the Penguin. But
I've taken the same strategy with Penguin and Agatha all along. I
gotta wait.
It's not that I'm not interested. It's just I don't have the patience to sit, because I need to see where it's going. So yeah,
couldn't agree more. Mason said Cowboy Bebop is up there. Sword Art Online. I definitely think Doug would like Black Clover fantasy aspect. Black Clover for the fantasy aspect. The Promised Neverland. I don't know if that got any other seasons, but that was one of the first ones I watched from a young lady who had recommended it to me. I was talking to at the time, and that was actually really good. The premise is like these orphans. Spoiler alert, maybe these orphans. There's this orphanage, and there's these kids, and they're really smart and they're really talented, but they're basically being raised to be eaten.
I'm sorry.
I know, right? Crazy fucking concept. Crazy concept, but I seen that one on Netflix, and that first season really, and then they work and build towards escaping from that orphanage. So I was like, dog, that's what I like about animes, and I think like it scratches an itch for me. Of like, it provides new lore. The way that it explains a story to you, as if like, yeah, you better catch up. Here's what's happening. Okay, now you're in it. Let's keep going with the story. Like, I like that. You talk about trusting your audience. It gives it to you, and you have to lock in and pay attention, because you'll miss like one part and you're like, okay, for like Hunter x Hunter, what is Nin? What is Rin? How do they use it? What does it mean they're getting stronger? What is the power levels of certain like characters? How do you gauge that? And I think that's really, really dope. So Nikki, I put you on game. So you came in here talking about some based anime enjoyer, and I done put you on a game, cuh. Now what?
If you don't know what to do, Nikki, I also don't know what to do in that situation. So
I'm just having a good time.
No, that's the best way. That's the best way to do it. I will have to. I think I'm going to check. I mean, Demon Slayer sounds like something I should check out for sure.
Mason said Dion Slayer. Who the hell is who's slaying Dion? What did Dion do? He just made a bowl. Yeah, he just made a bowl game.
Yeah, that's
Oh man.
Marcus, Anything else about anime that you'd like to tell us? I think it's really cool. Like, this is a great little rabbit hole we went down.
I'm really excited,
This was
actually.
great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is awesome. And I actually have stuff that I can check out. And seeing the Berserk intro again made me go, I should try and find some episodes of that and rewatch it to see if I still enjoy it. Just because you're right, that old school stuff for me like scratches that itch.
And anybody wondering, that song is by the band Creepy Nuts. That's an actual song, and it's actually really fire.
I believe it. Marcus, we are you're getting cranky in your old age.
What the fuck? I corrected you like you would have. All right, I'm not doing this with you.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We just talked to each other last night. Don't do this.
So, Marcus, we are going to talk about Venom 3, but before we do that, I have a little game I want us to play in honor of touching Spider-Man villain.
What?
No, hold on. In honor of the movie being about a Spider-Man villain. That was a Freudian slip is what that was. I said touching Spider-Man villains. What I think I had meant to say was touching upon Spider-Man villains. But here's
touching what? Touching who? Oh, wow.
I think I might need to go and time out.
It's a Dougie party, huh?
Yeah,
he's got the baby oil touching.
I mean, I did say last week how I like it when stalkers breathe into the phone on that. So that's
if that keeps villains off the street and it's Doug touching them, then so be it.
Hey, maybe we can reform some folks. Like, if I could save New York with my own brand of vigilantism, I'm just saying this now. I'm willing to do what it takes to save some lives. If it comes down between Mysterio destroying New York City and 15 minutes of me being uncomfortable, I'll do it. I'd do it because that's the kind of dude that I am. Anyway, so enjoy everybody. This is what happens when Brian.
Well, now we're canceled.
Yep, Brian. This is what happened when Brian takes a day off. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But Marcus, I want you to rank these 5 Spider-Man villains.
All right. I'm not. That comment was wild as hell. I'm not even sharing that. Huh. Yeah, let's. All right.
Okay.
Mason, we'll talk about that later. All right. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Let's talk about that maybe another time. Anyway, this is what I want to do. We're gonna rank these 5 Spider-Man villains. So I want you to tell me 1 through 5, and you just gotta tell me either. I don't want you to go with your fate. Like, just how would you rank these? So you're not gonna know which one is coming.
Damn.
So 1 through 5. The very first one I want you to start with, Marcus, is Mysterio.
Do I get any context of like which version of these characters are like Marvel versions, comic versions, just characters in general? What you want?
I would say take all of it into consideration.
Okay. All right.
So not just MCU, because some of the ones I'm going to show you might not necessarily be in the MCU.
Okay.
So you just take it and sort of like do what you want with it from there. So
I think Mysterio would be a 5 because that's that's a safe bet for me.
Okay. So Mysterio's at 5.
Yeah, Mysterio's
next
at 5.
Scorpion.
Scorpion can go either way. Safe bet would be a 4.
A 4.
I'll put him at a 4 because I don't know what's next.
Nikki Mason Roman in the chat. Let us know where you'd place these. So the first 2 were.
Can I change at any point?
You can get one swap like we've been doing, like one swap. So, you ready for number 3?
Yeah, give me number 3.
Vulture.
All right, let me swap. I'll put Vulture at. I'll put Mysterio at 4. Vulture at 5.
Okay, so right now you have Scorpion, Vulture. You have Scorpion, Scorpion, Mysterio, Vulture. You don't need to apologize. You're fine.
It's all right. Yeah, you know where you are.
You know where you are. Craven.
Damn. 2, I guess. 2.
Okay. You ready for your last one?
Yeah.
Lizard.
1.
Okay.
I mean, it has to be 1.
Oh yeah. So
can you give me the full list of what I would do if I could switch it, if I knew them all together too?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me your list. So the 5, rank these 5: Lizard, Craven, Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio.
I might put Craven above Lizard only because you can reason with Dr. Connors. And so like you could reason with Dr. Connors, and sometimes he snaps out of it, and then like he can come out. But if he's just Lizard straight out, he is the most dangerous motherfucker there is. Kraven, on the other hand, he can, in the 90s cartoon, he was kind of reasoned with a little bit if you find his love, the love of his life. But I think as a hunter and somebody who's hunting Spider-Man, he's dangerous because he's willing to put anything on the line.
Yeah.
So I think with that, the only swap that I would make would be putting Kraven above Lizard, that for that only reason. But if it's a full out Lizard, then I stick with my order. Absolutely.
All right. Now who's being who's being wild?
Scorpion #1. He's fine.
I realize what I said maybe threw everybody down a rabbit hole, but
Mason, and Nikki all have the top 3 comments of the night so far. So
yeah. So Roman has Lizard first. Yeah. Mason has Kraven first. Nikki has Scorpion first. I would probably put, if I had to put these anywhere, I would probably put Kraven #1. But I would also have, I would have Mysterio higher than you would think. I'd actually have him closer to 3, just because of his ability to like change your perception of things.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why that changes for me. So yeah.
I think I put Mysterio. The #1 thing I always remember about Mysterio is from the Spider-Man game when the movie came out, Spider-Man 2, and they made him a joke. And so I've always kind of taken him as a joke, even though in the MCU he's the most dangerous motherfucker because he exposed Spider-Man and like put him on this path, and like he was obviously they made him cooler than what was anticipated. But I always took him as like he was this actor who just got a kind of short end of the stick and wanted to prove people wrong. Makeup artist, like illusional like effects and all that kind of stuff, illusions and stuff. So I never really took him as dangerous, although I know he can probably take it there. Amongst everybody else, though, Scorpion with that fat ass tail that's got poison in it and shit, and Lizard and Kraven, he's dead last on my list, aside from the old man. Like like Kraven. I mean Vulture. Like what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, I think I definitely have Vulture towards the bottom.
Yeah, so that's a great list. That's a great list of villains. I love this game.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite games, and I'm glad we were able to do it. But Marcus, we're about to dive into Venom 3, The Last Dance. So if you have not seen Venom 3 and you don't want us to spoil it, turn back now, save the timestamp, come back after you see it. And we'll just kind of go from there. But Marcus, care to give us the barbershop synopsis, or I can also do it for Venom 3, The Last Dance?
I feel like it's been a while since I did it. I could do it.
Okay, do it. Lay it on me, man.
So what had happened was, you get the trilogy to this wild buddy cop of an alien symbiote and a very handsome man who is Tom Hardy. And so like you get this combination of Venom 3 picks up where the last Venom movie left off, and that is basically Tom at a bar, and what we assumed was No Way Home teleportation actually turned out to be null. It seems like they gotta fix that in post, but we'll talk about that afterwards. No, the all god darkness with teeth, the symbiote god himself,
God of symbiotes.
The god of symbiotes is looking for the what did Superman call it in the movie? The cortex, right? What is it? The thing that it's the cortex. And so Venom, because if the oh my god, you should have did this shit because I'm struggling as hell. If the host body dies, right, and the symbiote dies, then they make this cortex. So whenever they transform, they then become like this cortex will ring off as a signature to these big ass monsters, because the Venom symbiotes, it turns out, tried to lock up the King of Darkness and the King of Symbiotes, and they defeated him, overturned him, and they locked him away in this prison. The only thing that unlocked the prison is the cortex. And so every time they transform, the monsters go and they find them. So they go on this long adventure. Venom and Eddie Brock, they're going back and forth. They cannot fully whenever they fully transform, they'd be hunted down, but they got to somehow get to Area 51 because that's where the other symbiotes are. And they're all just going on this buddy cop adventure, just trying to, they meet different people along the way. They're also reminiscing along the way of their journey and their time together. You have a bunch of scientists who are breaking down the top layer of Area 51 that is more of a tourist trap. And underneath, they're researching the real deal aliens and all of the symbiotes that they've caught. It turns out that the cop from the last movie is still alive. They attach his body to a symbiote, and that's where they learn all of these secrets. And then you just go through this entire movie of what the fuck can you symbiote? Let's throw a symbiote at anything that fucking crawls across the screen, and we will do that. Hence, symbiote squirrel, Doug's name.
You nailed it. That's a great synopsis. Let's run down cast. So, as Marcus mentioned, Tom Hardy is in this. I almost said Tom Brady for some reason. That's a different Venom movie. Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock, Chiwetel Ejiofor played Strickland. Juno Temple plays Dr. Teddy Payne. Rhys Ifans plays Martin. Stephen Graham comes back as Detective Mulligan. Peggy Lou is Mrs. Chen in this again. And then after that, it's kind of like a series of like
new people,
like characters that are in here for a matter of moments. Like they're not, those are your top 5 that have the most amount of time like in the movie overall. Box office. This movie only made $51 million in the United States this past weekend. It's made 175 globally. So global pieces are doing a lot better. And so if you're curious, this is the lowest box office of the 3. So this one made 51. 90 million was Let There Be Carnage. And I want to say, it doesn't have the other one listed. I'm getting this from a Hollywood Reporter article. So Let There Be Carnage had a 90 million. It had a budget of $120 million. So this 51 is not great. No, it's not great. So it's they're struggling. They're struggling a little bit. So, but Marcus, you and I saw this locally on Friday. We saw this on Friday before you were dying. Tell me thoughts. What do you think? What'd you think of the movie?
I mean, it's the simple template of a Venom movie. It is also the simple template of a Spider-Man-less universe. You know what I mean? Nothing really changed except the story. Maybe the storyline shifts a little bit, but it's really the same story of Eddie and Venom are together and somebody's chasing them for what they got. And that's the entire movie. And you give some punchlines and you give some throws and what are some funny things that a giant fucking scary alien symbiote can say or do to make you laugh. And that's kind of, and I kind of got that vibe of like, I know why I'm here by like, not us, because I know how we are, but the person that was sitting in front of us that was laughing at like everything that should be laughed at. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. Like this wasn't made for like a movie podcast or movie critic. You're just supposed to come here and enjoy the fucking ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What up, Damani? Damani in the chat.
Look at D. What up, D? That's my brother.
Here's what I'm saying.
Damani.
I mean, I don't know how to feel about this movie because on the one hand, you're right. If you're showing up, if your ass is in that seat for like action, adventure, a little bit of silliness from a big hulking black monster, like this is your movie. Like this is going to check those boxes. If you're coming here for it to wrap up any loose ends, or you're here to have some continuity in the story that was laid in the first 2, or if you're even trying to see what do they do with Venom moving forward now that Tom Hardy has said that he's officially done, you're going to be disappointed. Like if you're looking for some level of like continuity, it's not there. Like it's not there at all. Yes, they should have. They absolutely
should not have made it a musical. No.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because here's the pluses. Like this is what the movie has going for it. Again, the symbiote design is perfect. No notes. Like you did great, especially when it's covering somebody, when it's floating around in its ooze. I think you did a fine job with those. Also,
not just the symbiote design, but all of the alien design. I think that you nailed that. But yes.
Yeah. Again, the not xenophages is what they're called. The creatures that Null controls and sends to Earth. Xenophages. Those are sweet. Like those are really cool. I love the powers that they gave. It was really good. I enjoyed that. Again, no notes. But this movie had this habit of like just launching into something like that whole thing with Juno Temple, Dr. Payne. You cut from Eddie in, I think, Mexico or Nevada, and you cut to her lying in a bed having a nightmare. And you're like, who the fuck is this? Like, what, who is this? And why do I care? And then you never hear her name until like 5 minutes later. So this movie had a really like jarring way of introducing characters. And again, if you're here for the ride, the characters don't really matter. But if you're here for continuity and trying to understand it, it just feels weird. So yeah, that's my thought.
No, I agree. Yeah. I think, and it's not Juno Temple's character. And here's the messed up part. When we got on the podcast, my first thought was, ooh, I forgot half this movie. And I think that's the fucked up part is it was fine. It just was a kind of like a forgettable movie until I rewatch it again, right? Because nothing really stuck with me. And it wasn't like a watch and dump, because you usually see the third one and you're kind of like, all right, well, I watched it. I don't need anything else with it. That doesn't typically happen with me. It usually sticks with me for a while. Now, while I had other things on my mind other than remembering a damn Venom movie, I just think it didn't stick with me. It didn't stick on my bones when I left. And I was kind of like, all right, that was a movie. And I'm sad about that, because I do enjoy the Venom movies. I do enjoy Tom Hardy. I love the fact that he invested so much in this character. It just, nothing stuck. Now, however, I like the fact that the characters enjoyed being in this movie.
Yes.
I think the cast is good. These are a cast of people that I would watch in anything. If you were to put them together in anything, like, yeah, I would watch this movie. I just think that the direction was 3 different movies in one.
Oh yeah, this was a Frankenstein. Like they put 3 different movies in here. They put a redemption arc, like, you know, last adventure movie. They also put in a movie specifically with Juno Temple, and then also like the Christmas woman.
Yeah, I have no idea what her name was, because they
couldn't tell you.
Christmas.
Yep. But you put those 2 in there, and they were like and this isn't a dig, so please no one take it this way, almost like a female empowerment movie. Like, these are strong women who are, you know, they don't want to feel like they are damsels that need to be saved. Like, they are just as capable as anybody else in this movie, ostensibly more than some of the men. Like, they're just as capable to go out and do what's necessary to save the day as well. So that's in there. It's like a military conspiracy movie, and then there's
alien movie.
It's an alien movie. There's also a big bad threat with Null lurking in the background, because they keep bringing him up, but you're like, we don't really understand why. So yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah,
a lot.
It introduces a lot of this is the issue when you don't have a Spider-Man. There is, like, how do you end this? Even like, it's sending, and spoiler, but the end is Eddie and Venom want to go to New York, because the reason Eddie is on the run is because they are framing him, or I guess not framing him, but whatever, for the murder of the detective who is technically alive. So he is on the run from everybody, and it's all over the news. There's nowhere he can go.
Yes.
Eddie and Venom say they're in Mexico, but they don't want to stay in Mexico. Eddie and Venom say, let's go to New York. I know a judge out there that I can blackmail, that he can, you know, scrub this free, or whatever the case may be, which was random as hell. But the end result is them getting to New York, is where that judge is. Okay, who else should be in New York? Spider-Man.
And Marcus, to your point, in the ending of Let There Be Carnage and at the end of No Way Home, they touch on that twice. Remember, the ending of Let There Be Carnage, Eddie is in Mexico. He sees Spider-Man on TV, and he says something like, this guy, like, as if he knew who he was. Fade to black.
It was Venom. It was Venom saying, what's all that power, or something like that.
Yeah. Venom was like, that I need. Ooh, what's that? And he licks the screen.
Yeah.
He's very interested in Spider-Man. At the end of No Way Home,
freak ass boy.
At the end of No Way Home, something to the effect of, they talk about maybe they need to go to New York and meet this Spider-Man was something that was said at the end of that one. And then this one, they're just like, I need to see the Statue of Liberty.
I want to see her, Eddie.
They just jettisoned the whole, like, you did all of that work to get people excited, and then you promptly went, nope, and you just flushed it. And that's the thing I think that bugs me the most about this is that's what I keep going back to is like, on its face, this is a fun action movie that you shouldn't look too far into. But the problem is it carries so much baggage with it of it being a Spider-Man-less universe. There's a part of me that's like, I don't think this movie is good, but it's not because of anything the movie did. It's because of all the shit around it.
Yeah. It's a Sony movie. And Sony forced, I think that was a Sony rule. In order to use Spider-Man, you got to include this scene because eventually we want to tie these two motherfuckers in there together. And I get it. If you want to end No Way Home and you want to end the next, your biggest Venom movie is probably the one with Carnage in it because that's a story that everybody knows and it's a sequel. And then No Way Home is the $1 billion fucking Spider-Man movie. So yeah, like no duh, no shit, right? And you want to tie these two things together with the hope that we're gonna have these two motherfuckers battle at some point. And even Tom Hardy is still hinting at that. He's still saying, I want to battle the spider. I want to see the spider. I want to blah, 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 blah. All of this is going to continue to be a problem. Morbius, Venom, Vulture movie, whatever the Craven movie, whatever the fuck is next. Like, all of this is going to be a problem. You can write the best fucking Sony villain movie you want. But the end result and the biggest problem is you don't have a fucking Spider-Man for them to go face to face with. And you keep trying to turn them into anti-heroes. And that just does not work.
No, that has not worked. And okay, Venom, I get the lethal protector. The lethal protector thing is a storyline that they could tap into and is fine. Great, you did it. Good job. The thing that bugs me about the other ones is it's like Craven's never been an anti-hero. Morbius has never been an anti-hero. Why do you keep doing this? And like I don't need it.
It's strange for me to ask me to sympathize with a villain, with somebody who is outright a villain. And then now all of a sudden that villain is a protagonist. That doesn't automatically make you want to like, what is it that I'm supposed to sympathize with? And I think that's a problem, Sony. You got to figure it out. And I'm not saying I like what Marvel has done with their relationship with Sony. I like that, Tom Holland just announced that the next Spider-Man movie is going to start filming very soon. They already put a date on it. They have the script already ready to go. There's been battles between Sony wants it to be a multiversal movie. And you can tell by the way they keep making their fucking movies. And they want to go big or go home instead of actually telling Earth or like grounded fucking stories. And then Marvel's like, no, we want to tell a more grounded story with Spider-Man because that's who Spider-Man is. It feels like somebody doesn't understand the property, and it's not Kevin Feige.
No, and but here's the other thing. It also feels like the contract language around this is what's creating the problem.
Yeah.
Like the contract language of how Sony owns these characters is what's dooming them to continue to turn this stuff out. Because at the end of the day, they recognize this is where the IP is more valuable than the product.
Yeah.
So like the act of owning Spider-Man and his cavalcade of characters, the act of owning that has so much more financial potential than the actual movie itself. So for those that don't know, and there's tons of like books and articles about this, I think there was a book that came out that Brian read called like, it's about the history of the MCU, and they dive into this Sony Marvel Spider-Man conundrum. But I'll summarize it for you. Sony owns Spider-Man and all of its, world and universe of characters. The rule is that they have to turn out a product every 3 to 5 years, or otherwise they lose that particular product. They lose the rights to that character. So they can't just sit on it and never use it. Eventually, if they don't use it, it goes back to... God damn it. Okay, look, that's your SAT word of the day, okay? A noun, a formal procession of people walking. Here we
I
are.
didn't know. You really caught me off guard. I know that's the you used the word correctly. That's just what they gave me on Google. I just was
I did not know that they had to be on horseback. So imagine all of the Spider-Man villains,
but on horses,
riding a horse,
riding reverse cowboy. Yes,
yeah, we got it. Yep, that's right. And not in the fun way.
Got it. Oh man, that's no fun. Imagine Venom riding reverse cowgirl.
Just like that, Eddie. God damn it.
The fact that he's a symbiote and sharing the body with one person, walking him through some sick ass shit. Just like that, Eddie.
Just
Give
like
me
that,
back
Eddie.
my ween, boy. God damn.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's why I used the Lethal Rider.
The
Lethal You nailed it. That's Mason. That's
that's redemption for that last comment.
That's
for sure. Yeah, you did it.
You made it up. You made it up. Good work.
Congratulations.
But the fact that so like when we had all those Spider-Man movies where it was like, Jesus, there's a Spider-Man like every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it was like Spider-Man 3, a year and a half, 2 years later, brand new Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Then the next one was like 2 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
They had to meet that deadline. And right now they're continuing to do that with all these extra characters. So that's why they feel like they're so close. I mean, we had Morbius, then 2 years later was Madam Web. 2 years later from that is Kraven the Hunter. Like they are turning these out at a cadence that if you looked at it, you could see the pattern, and it's because of the contract language. And so they don't want to lose the rights to that profit that they could have, because I mean, if you keep turning them out, eventually one of them's got to be a hit, right?
No,
that's the philosophy.
I think that might be their philosophy, but honestly, it's good that Marvel and Sony reached that agreement to get Tom Holland and Spider-Man, and obviously he was a hit. And I think that you got somebody. If Marvel did not cast a good Spider-Man, I think that they still would be trying to have their own Spider-Man, right? And I think it's good that you got that stop, because now you don't have Sony trying to cast a Spider-Man and Marvel trying to have a Spider-Man, or Sony trying to do Miles Morales and then Marvel's trying to keep like their version of Spider-Man or Tom Holland or whatever the case may be. Kudos to that. Shout out to that. Where do you go next for the villain? I think is really the question, right? Because Venom is done. And Venom, here's the thing about Venom as a movie. Go see it. It's still a fun movie. There are funny parts in it. Obviously, it's funny to somebody because there were people laughing, and there are funny parts in this movie. Venom smacks the dog shit out of who turns out to be Tom Hardy's stunt double. But he smacks the shit out of him in one of the scenes, and I thought that was funny. What else we laughed at something else in there? Oh, the black one, the guy that wasn't really intentional.
We laughed at the wrong things for the wrong reasons. You can't count our laughter, because our laughter always comes with an asterisk.
Our laughter triggered other people's laughter, because
the part where Venom, the part where Venom is dancing with Mrs. Chen, I was like crying because I was like, look at what they did to my boy. And you were like, you were laughing about that. But the scene itself is probably funny to somebody. So yeah, you can't count our laughter.
It was the scene where I forgot what the green one. That's what another thing they didn't do. They did not say the names of the damn symbiotes enough for me to remember. And these were cool fucking designs that they just did not take time to introduce. But there was one scene, and the reason my AKA is the black one is there's the green symbiote, and he's saying you need to find the cortex, and he's like, "Where's the cortex? Who's got the cortex? The black one. You need to find the black one." And then and then at the end of the movie, Eddie gets expunged from all of his charges. So the guy in front of us who heard us make that joke said, "Oh, as soon as he got rid of the black one, he got all expunged of all of his charges." And I was like, perfect.
But this is where the movie doesn't make sense in and of itself. It's like, okay, so the green one goes like, the black one has it, and then Venom shows up, and the green one's like, Venom, you gotta. So who did you say the black? Who was when you said the black one? Who was that for? Like, was it like you didn't think the humans in the room would know you were talking about Venom? Or is this
the black one? His name is Venom.
Is this like a only symbiotes can say each other's names? Like, is there a whole thing there? Like, no.
The African American
call him that. I can call him that. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just that's.
What's up, my Venom?
at this Venom over here. Look at this Venom right here.
Over here. No, Venom is good. I just don't know what direction Sony goes next, because that was probably your biggest hit. Do I think that I think the Craven movie will be good as a movie.
I would say I feel out of the, let's take the Venom movies and set them in their own bucket.
Yep.
If we look at just the Spider-Man villain movies that they've been doing, Morbius, Madam Web, Craven, I do think there's something about Craven that has a lot of potential. Like it looks like it could be something. Yeah. There are parts of it where I'm watching trailers and I go, this is madness. But that's just a trailer. By itself, it might not be madness. So we'll see.
The cool thing that I think that you could do is you take Craven, and Marvel, if they're like, you know what, that's our guy. Craven is our guy. That was our Quicksilver. We like him. We want to bring him back. You could bring Craven over to the Spider-Man universe if you'd like. However, the direction of the Spider-Man universe is, it seems that they are trying to expeditiously wrap up this multiverse language. They don't want nothing else to do with it.
They don't want to touch it anymore.
They're moving on, and they're moving on to Secret Wars. Like,
yes,
that's it.
They want to be through Secret Wars so they can stop being bound creatively to, this is a universe where everything has to connect.
Yes.
Like they do not want to be bound by that anymore.
Yeah.
Which is so weird that Sony is watching Disney being like, God, this is creatively so hard for us to make sure everything's connected. And all Sony wants is just give us a multiversal hit. Give us anything that is some type of like a universal thing where all of these characters interact with one another. That's what's kind of crazy.
At this point, I almost want Andrew Garfield to come back as Sony Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And do that, or cast, maybe not cast a new Spider-Man because that would take too much attention away, but like maybe have Andrew Garfield come back and be a Spider-Man that pops in these movies every once in a while. That way everybody gets their itches scratched. And we already know that that's a concept that can exist. Other than that, this just feels like it's like a dog chasing its tail.
Well, and remember, like there was always like people who were speculating. They always felt like these Sony movies always took place in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, the Andrew Garfield one. Yes. And I think that's what a lot of fans wanted. They wanted Andrew Garfield versus Tom Hardy, big hulking dude versus like a slim Spider-Man, gymnastic fit quippy sort of Spider-Man. Like that's what everybody was like craving. And so it's just a huge missed opportunity. And this was where you could have done it, right? Like you could have done anything. And I think it's just kind of like, I think you said it best. This is what happens when there's a Spider-Man-less universe. Like it's just, it's hard. It's hard. It's no structure to it. Like it's just kind of a wad of stuff. Like, and that's where you're at. Yeah. So
your best actors will not fix that. You can cast fucking George Clooney as the lead villain in these movies. I don't know why I went George Clooney. There's better actors.
Batman and Robin, that's why.
Yeah, that is true. I stand by that shit. Y'all went and made fun of me, and people all of a sudden was like, I don't give a fuck. I stand by that.
You know what? I'm proud of you. That is resolution to the max, and I appreciate that. So good for you.
Ass.
Okay. But no, you're right though. Like, and I think Tom Hardy's the best evidence of that.
Yes.
Like Tom Hardy was fucking committed. He loved Venom as a character. And so you had such an opportunity to like someone who loved it, because the characters that love it the most, those are the ones that go the extra mile. I mean, look at the guy who plays Punisher. John Barenthal. Like he's awesome. He loves that character and he pours that into it. Fucking look at Nicolas Cage.
They just had that new Spider-Man Noir. The screenshots from that come up.
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage loves Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. Great example, Roman. But Nicolas Cage and Ghost Rider. He really liked Ghost Rider. And I will say this, I think people hate on the first Ghost Rider more than they should.
Oh, absolutely. You can hate on that second shit with Idris Elba, and it's not Idris Elba's fault, but that's just how I define it. But yeah, you can hate on that second shit.
Yeah, you absolutely can. But the first one?
The first one is a classic, man.
First one's not bad. So, but yeah, that's what I got. So you're right. see this, enjoy it. It's a wild ride. I would say, oh, there's one more thing I wanted to touch on.
Yeah.
And you talked about like where are they going with this? This is where I'm going to get mad because they introduced a huge Avengers level threat as the main big bad behind the scenes here. And they keep saying like, oh yeah, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. And I got to be honest with you. I don't know how they can do it without Spider-Man. And I mean that quite seriously. Like the one that they can't do, they cannot touch Null without having Spider-Man and the Avengers in some way, shape, or form involved.
You I also want to talk about these 2 end credit scenes. Just
Please.
Because we're here. And in one of those scenes, they do, Noel specifically says, I'm going to come and I'm going to burn everything down. The darkness has teeth, all that other shit. He's like, it's this big spooky shit. But then that's what he said. That's what the guy, when he defined him, he was scared shitless and said the darkness, it has teeth.
Darkness has teeth.
The darkness has teeth. And I was like, man, I hate teeth on my shit. But then I feel like the other end credit scene was how they have Venom survive through a cockroach, which was a reference that is made earlier in the movie from the doctor that we don't know what the name was, and with the backstory about her brother and getting shocked by electricity,
Juno
who
Temple.
also becomes a Venom
at
the end of the movie that can run fast. So it's a lot of concepts that are just still alive and well in these worlds and in these realms. And all I can think about is if they use that cockroach, that is a venomized cockroach, because that was the whole end credit scenes is them venomizing different animals. That's what the whole thing is. It's a penguin, it's a spider, it's all of these different animals, an octopus,
a turtle.
If they use that cockroach to
Kangaroo.
get to Tom Holland, and that's how he gets the black suit, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I got to say.
Yep,
that's it. I think because I think that's a bullshit way to say. That's how Venom gets to New York, or like, what are you trying to do there with that? Like, I waited for that end credit scene. There was 2 of them, and that's what you left us with. I think that's what aggravated me the most too.
Yeah. I mean, and I completely agree because again, now Eddie Brock is floating around New York. He has moved to New York now, and he's there. So we're setting up a reunion that won't happen. Like, are we set? Is that what we're setting up? Is that the Venom gets to New York, bonds with Spider-Man, and then finds Eddie again? Like, is that the route that we're gonna go?
And how do we even know that's the same New York, the same universe?
Great question. Who knows? Like, and that's the thing is, it's like this is all sort of like it's so disorganized, and then you add on top of that. I mean, for those that don't know, Null is a big deal. He's Null, or the King in Black.
Yeah, talk about
is he lives on Clintar. He was imprisoned by symbiotes. He is like he's basically the birth of all symbiotes. Like that's just who he is as a character. This was set up a huge event with all the Avengers where he sends a bunch of symbiotes down to Earth to essentially like destroy Earth. And it requires all of the Avengers to fix it. And so when you see like a character like that, thanks for bringing that up, but like when you see a character like this and you're going to just say like, yeah, he's just going to be casually the next villain. It's wild to me that that's the route like that they want to go with it. Because it's a big deal. Like this was a huge crossover event that took place within Marvel Comics. And it's just weird to be like, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do with this moving forward? It just feels weird to me.
Yeah, that is a big ass character to introduce with no hero in this realm. And the military clearly isn't cutting it. And the way that Tom Hardy is talking, he's done. And Lord knows how many years pass between, when an actor is done with a character. I'm sure if he gets the opportunity to be in the MCU, like, yeah, for sure. They'll make that happen.
Yeah.
But years pass. Old actors get older. They move on of interest. They go and invest in other things. So now what do you do? Do you have to reintroduce that entire concept? Because Venom is your tie to Null. So like, I don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Marcus, you brought up something that I think was you talk about years. Did you know that the series of events took place over the course of a year?
No, fuck no.
They
No.
tossed that fucking shit out there and they were like, "Yeah, this movie, you've had a crazy year." And you and I were both like, "A fucking year?" Like
Yeah.
these 3 movies take place over a year and there's no Spider-Man. Spider-Man watches the Life Foundation bring symbiotes to Earth. Then one gets out, they fight each other, a rocket explodes. Okay, end. Then the second one happens. Again, this is like in this timeline, 6 months later, one shows up and is just straight up killing people, including a cop. And Spider-Man's just sitting on his ass, like, this tracks. This is fine. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But yeah, that's all. So yeah, again, go see it if you want to. It's a fun ride. There's obviously some things. I would just say lower your expectations as you sort of go into it. Lower your expectations. So
I also cannot find that damn Nolan Boyd song.
I have searched the internet high and low for that Nolan Boyd song, and it is nowhere to be found.
I have that. It's at the very end they play a Scarface song, but my Shazam app couldn't find it. Everybody has the name, but it's not anywhere. That's very strange. But it was a very good fucking song.
It was so good. It was Czarface. It was Method Man,
and Pulitzer something.
Yeah, it was good. Like the beat was awesome. Just Method had some goddamn fire lines in there.
He was fucking flowing, man.
Yeah, he was absolutely flowing. Marcus, anything else you want to say about Venom 3: The Last Dance?
I know it sounds like we just shit on it, but go watch it anyway. I think it's a fun ride. Like, go watch it. I think when it comes out on digital, you will enjoy it. I don't know if this would have been my Friday night with my buddy movie, it should have been more fun than I think it was. And I can't tell if that's because we have a podcast now.
I get that. Yeah, there are moments where I'm like, you and I, like we both had our movies where like we show up to shit and we're like, I don't want to watch this. You had it with Joker 2. I kind of had it with this one where I was like, I mean, all right, start the thing.
Yeah.
Like just roll it because I don't want to do this. So I look forward to like the coming weeks. There are some movies that are coming out that we're going to do that are going to be a lot of fun that I'm excited to talk about as a group. So I'm also curious to see what Brian says. I don't know if he's going to see it, but if he does, I'm curious to see. I will say he shared this with us in the chat that he showed Liam the trailer to Venom 3 and his son Liam said that movie needs Spider-Man. So even Liam got it. So it's not just us. Even a young kid can get it. So shout out to the Roushes. So Marcus, what do you have to plug this week?
Couple things I gotta plug. Soul Tie's got new music out called Notice. He's also got a song called Fooling You that is out right now. I'm also performing at South by South Dakota on November 9th. I'm actually putting on a show here in Vermilion, South by South Dakota. This is the my second year performing here, and it's always a good time. You guessed it, it is at the AV Lounge, so you can go ahead. Tickets are on sale right now. There's a wide variety of artists and styles and people that'll be performing here, so that is November the 9th. They're doing a lot of filling music beforehand, like the day before, to also like lead up to this, and then like on the 9th will be like the day filled with music. We had a really good time the last time, and if you missed it, you missed just a really good time. Big Texas is coming out to play, so that is going to be a fun ride. And also I'm going to premiere a song that is dropping either this week or next week. And so this song is called Extortion.
I know everybody says, I'm just getting started. Ain't seen nothing yet. Yo, I'm just getting started. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's one of those.
I like
the beat ride a little bit, but this is Extortion mixed by Jarrell featuring your boy.
You can't blackmail, no blackmail. You can't blackmail, no blackmail. You can't blackmail, no blackmail. You can't blackmail. Yeah. It's Big Texas, stripped out and blessed since the
That's fucking fire as hell.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
That's
I'm really excited.
No, I'm excited for it too. That's a great song.
Super excited. I knew Doug was gonna love it because and the way that it sounds, it will be released as like not a mini project, but this song has a what I call a part 1 and a part 2. So it's like 2 different vibes on the song, but then I will also individually have those 2 vibes in separate places for people like Doug that like to go on a run, that want the more upbeat.
Oh yeah.
And then the back end, front end is Big Texas, back end is the Mocha Cowboy, the lover boy himself. And so without further ado, Extortion will be out very, very soon on all DSPs, wherever you can get your music. But without, above all that, follow the mantra, never offended, always humble, baby.
Absolutely. Want to plug the Love Nerds. So if you head over to etsy.com/the Love Nerds, I think I got that right. I'm looking for the thing.
I was looking for it too.
Yep, you got it. Okay, we both found it at the exact same time. But that is Maggie's Etsy shop. She's got a ton of stuff that you can download for party supplies as well as various other things. So get out there and support the Love Nerds because they do outstanding stuff and she does outstanding stuff. So but also if you loved our chat about anime and about Marvel villains and about Venom, head over to first off, tell a friend or family member about this podcast. Best way for us to grow is by word of mouth. But if you're feeling extra generous, head over to patreon.com/films in black and white. Sign up for one of our tiers there. We would greatly appreciate it. But Marcus, we have a 3-step process to success. So lay us on with that first step, man.
Oh man, in space, but I could never replace my boy Brian Roush. Please read a book. We don't give a damn what you read. Read the newspaper, read a mini book, read a book on your Kindle. But all you got to do is educate yourselves. I'll tell you one thing that scares the hell out of me. Election season. I tell you, found out people are burning ballot boxes. Like, people need to read a fucking book. They need to get knowledgeable. You know what I mean?
Listen to a book. You don't have time to read, but you got to walk to work or you're in the car driving to work. Just throw on an audiobook from your local library. That is a great place.
And educate yourselves about the people you're voting for. Whoever you vote for, that's between you and the Lord and your family, but consider others when you're voting and educate yourselves. But you can only do that by reading or reading a book.
Absolutely. Look, drink some water, y'all. We talked about food poisoning, injuries to the body. Most importantly, drink some water. It takes care of yourself. It helps cushion your body, helps take care of your body, makes you feel hydrated that you can get out and tackle your day. And every once in a while, treat yourself to the good stuff, to the good water, whatever that is for you. For some, it's Voss. For some, it's Dasani. But whatever it is for you, treat yourself to the good stuff.
Okay. And for that last take, all you want to do, baby, is wash your ass, please. All right.
Some of you aren't.
Some of you are not washing your ass, and that's why we got to keep up coming up here and telling you the same thing. You know what I had to do after I got food poisoning? Wash my ass.
Yeah, probably several times.
Several times. You got to get in there. If you got hot water, the good Lord bless you. Use it. And a towel and some soap. Wash your ass.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
For the love of God.
That does it for this week's episode of Films in Black and White. We'll be back next week with another outstanding episode and with our man Brian back in black and in living color. And so join us next week for that. But in the meantime and in the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
I think Doug's gonna like Dun Dun Dun. I think he'll like this shit.
I probably will.
I think you will. The animation is way too tough for you to do it.
It sounds like it's going to be something that I listen to, that I watch like over lunch, like when no one's here.
Yes. It's only 4 episodes out right now, so like it's a perfect time to catch it. You know what I mean? Good time.